Booking flights doesn't have to feel like a gamble. Once you actually understand what makes a flight worth it, everything gets easier and a lot less stressful. Today, I'll walk you through how I book flights that are affordable, comfortable, and future me approved. Hey, I'm Angela. I moved from the US to Europe 6 years ago, and in my early days of traveling throughout Europe, I made all the classic mistakes. I chased the cheapest deals, booked miserable itineraries, and arrived so frustrated by bad flight experiences that I could barely enjoy my first day in a city. But over time, I figured out how to plan trips that felt intentional, exciting, and uniquely me. And once I did, I couldn't stop sharing what I learned. That's why I started my blog, Notes from Europe, to help other thoughtful travelers skip the stress and get to the good part. And that's exactly what we're doing today, booking your next flight without the chaos. When we sit down to book a flight, we usually optimize for one thing: price. It makes sense. Flights are expensive, and getting a good deal feels like winning. But here's the problem. When we're actually taking the flight, our priorities change completely. Suddenly, we care about comfort, about sleep, about not sprinting through an unfamiliar airport. And in those moments, we'd happily pay more for the extra legroom, priority boarding, or a better seat. But by then, it's too late. The flight's full, the upgrades are gone, and we're stuck with the cheapest option we could find. That's the trap. When you're booking flights, you need to consider what future you will want out of their air travel. Once you start thinking like the version of you that will actually be taking the flight, you'll make better choices, ones that future you will greatly appreciate. I learned this the hard way. On one of my last solo traveler trips to Europe before I moved to Germany, I was in the typical budget traveler mindset. I bought the cheapest ticket to Milan, but ignored the fact that it came with not one, but 2 layovers. The price was amazing, but everything else, not so much. I got delayed in Brussels, then rerouted to Frankfurt. Foreshadowing? By the time I landed in Milan, I was completely drained. I missed my dinner reservation, wasted my entire first evening, and spent the next day trying to recover from jet lag and exhaustion. That trip taught me something really important. Flights aren't just about getting from point A to point B. They're the first leg of your journey, and they can absolutely set the tone for your first few days in a destination. Tell me, have you ever booked a flight you totally regretted later? Missed a connection? Spent a night in the airport? Drop your story in the comments. I read every one, and it helps other travelers learn what to watch out for too. Here's how I book flights now, and how you can too. First, start your airfare search early, but not too early. For international flights, the sweet spot is usually 4 to 6 months before your departure date. That's when you'll see the widest availability of routes at the best available prices. Any earlier, and airlines might not have released deals yet, but any later, and you're likely to pay more for your fare. Next, use the right tools. I almost always start my search with Google Flights. It's easy to navigate, lets me compare prices across dates, and I can quickly see which airlines and routes work best for my schedule. Skyscanner is also great, especially if you're exploring open-ended options or if you kind of like having an itinerary already made for you. When I search, I always use filters. This is an important step that most frequent flyers never skip past. I remove flights with super long travel times or multiple layovers. If I want to fly a particular airline, I can filter to see only the routes being operated by that carrier. And if I have a tight schedule, I'll even filter for the departure and arrival times so that they fit with my schedule. Your situation may be entirely different. Do you like long layovers that let you leave the airport and explore an extra city? You can use filters to find those too. There's a lot of noise when you're looking for the right flight for your trip. and filters are the quickest way to cut through that noise. If you're looking to save money on airfare, the more flexible you can be, the better. Shifting your departure or return day by even one day can shave hundreds off the price. Use the calendar grid tool to see which days offer the best deals, and if your schedule allows it, take advantage. Now let's talk about flight class. If you know you want extra legroom or better food, just book it. Airlines are getting less generous with upgrades these days, and future you will thank you when they're not crammed in a middle seat for 10 hours. And finally, be careful with budget carriers. That $200 flight might sound amazing until you realize that seat reservation, luggage, and even water cost extra. Always read the fine print. Know what you're paying for before you click that Book Now button. If you vibe with the way that I break down the process of booking airfare, then you'll love my free email course, How to Plan a Trip to Europe. Through 8 easy to digest emails, I'll walk you through all of the steps in the trip planning process, from big picture decisions like budgeting and choosing a destination to smaller details that make a trip truly unforgettable. It's completely free, and you can sign up using the link in the description below. Now that your flight is booked, it's time to find the perfect place to stay. In the next video, I'll walk you through how to choose accommodations that actually enhance your trip, whether you're leaning boutique hotel, cozy rental, or budget-friendly hostel. Tap here to keep planning smart.